duck fat. Makes all the difference.
Yes, this is a John Wick reference.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Guy in the Kitchen, where today we are making French fries with duck fat.
Wait a minute, you can make French fries with duck fat?
You bet you can make French fries with duck fat, and guess what?
They're probably better than McDonald's fries.
There are many different ways of making French fries, which I like to call 7 Ways to Friday. Get it? Friday? Number 1. You can buy a frozen bag of French fries at the store and put it in the oven. Number 2. You grab potatoes, cut them up into rectangles that look like fries, and fry them yourself. Number 3. Double fry them. That's when you fry your French fries twice. Number 4. You boil the fries and then fry them. Number 5. You boil them and then you double fry them. Number 6. If you're feeling bougie, you can fry it in duck fat. And then there is the 7th way to Friday, which is known as the 15-hour potato, which is the one that we are going to be doing today in this video. Make sure you have a lot of time to kill in the next couple days, and an apron, and let's get cooking some fries.
Intro transition!
Alright, so first things first, you're gonna want to grab yourself about 3 pounds of potato.
That's about this many potatoes. And again, these potatoes are a little small, so your amount of potatoes may be different from what I got. Next thing you're gonna want to do is peel all these potatoes with a peeler. So you might want to get a few sheets of paper towel to catch all the peels in. Now that your potatoes are all peeled, you can easily pick them up by the paper towel and put them in the garbage. So now that our potatoes are fully peeled, we still have to bring them over to the sink and wash them. So what you're gonna do is fill the bowl up with water and stick your hand in and move the potatoes around so they get washed. Then once your water's looking kind of something like this, you're gonna wanna dump all the water out the bowl. And then fill it up again. You're gonna want to keep doing this until the water that you're putting in the potatoes is still clear after you're moving them around in the bowl. Alright, so now to cut the potatoes, we're gonna use this thingy here called a mandolin. This slices the potatoes super thin, like this. Thickness that you want the potatoes to be is about 1/16 of an inch. Now you want to be very careful with the mandolin because the blade is very sharp. And for the sake of safety, use this guard that comes with the mandolin. It'll save you from having your fingers cut off. Now, since my duck fat isn't necessarily all liquid, we're going to melt it down on the stove. While it's doing that, we're going to add in a few things. 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a bit of pepper. And we mix it all in as it's melting. Now that our duck fat is all melted, we can add it to our potatoes. Now you put the duck fat in the potatoes and you mix it all together, making sure that you separate the little bits so that duck fat gets into them too. Now that you got your potatoes covered in duck fat, you're going to want to get your pan, grease it with some duck fat and parchment paper, and then just lay them down in the pan in layers. And make sure there's no curves going up the sides either. You don't want that. You want it layered as flat as you possibly can, covering up as much space as possible. And then this is what the potatoes should look like once you're done stacking them in the pan. Now once you're done layering those potatoes, take these parchment paper edges and fold it over top so it is flat. Now we're gonna put the potatoes into the oven.
By the way, you're gonna want to set your oven to 225 degrees and leave the potatoes in there for 3 hours, which should give you more than enough time to clean up your now dirty kitchen and counter.
Alright, so we didn't really get footage of it yesterday, but we took the potatoes out of the oven after their 3 hours was done. And then we put another loaf pan on it and weighed it down and left it in the fridge overnight. And now we're gonna take it out of the fridge. So now we're gonna take it out of the fridge. And put it on the counter. That was more difficult than how it looked. Potatoes. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do is getting potatoes out of that pan and onto a cutting board where you can cut it into french fries. Alright, so how you get it out of the pan, you take your cutting board, put it on top, then you flip it upside down. It should come out pretty easily. And there you go. There's your potato log. Alright, so now we're gonna wanna grab a knife and first trim off the little edges of your potato brick that you got here. Then once you have your edges trimmed off, you are going to want to cut them into thick, even batons. Try to cut them as thick as the height of your potato loaf that you got going. Now that we're done that, we're just going to trim up these other long sides, because we haven't done that just yet. Alright, so now as you can probably see, that's a lot of layers of potato right there, and it also is a pretty big fry, and we want it to cook evenly, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller by cutting it in half. Looks like a bit more manageable size. Once your potatoes are all cut up, you're going to want to put some oil in a pot and heat it up to around 375 degrees Fahrenheit. While you're waiting for your oil to be up to temperature, you're going to want to assemble some kind of draining rig. So what we have here is a pan with parchment on it, and then a cooling rack on top of it. And you're also going to want a tool to get them out of the oil, like this wire spoon looking thingy, because I'm sure you do not want to use your hands. Bet that looks pretty good, don't it? Alright, and now we are going to fry some potatoes. Make sure you don't cook too many at once, or else it'll bring the heat of the oil down way too much, and you won't be able to cook it as fast as you want it. Alright, so now these potatoes are looking pretty good, so I'll take them out of the oil. Bring them over here. Hang on, tongs. And just a little bit of salt. And then this is how the fries turned out. They look really nice and crispy. We also fried up the little bits that we cut off earlier too. Now we have our duck fat 15-hour potato fries with a ribeye steak and grilled asparagus. I'm sure John Wick would be really proud of this. Hopefully he doesn't come after me though. That'd suck.
Well, that's it for this edition of A Guy in the Kitchen. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.